Hi, morning. Welcome back to... Oh, no, morning. It's not going to be morning, is it? Shut up. Welcome back to Mechanic Garage. It's a bit of a bright one today. Sunday morning, but it's not raining. It's been a bit lousy weather recently, so I'm going to carry on with this one now. If you've seen the other one, got the engine box out of that one. I'm going to do the same with this one. Be a little bit more detail in places and a bit less time lapse, just to make it a bit different. And we'll see how far we get. I know there's a couple of things I need. I'm waiting for a clutch release bearing before I can put anything back in, but that's for the green one, so that doesn't really matter. Fingers crossed it'll be alright. And we'll be able to see what's going on. You'll have to take my word for it, but I've had the cams out of this and put a pair of 135 cams in, so it's basically a 15 horsepower bolt on over the original spec cams. Now, I would have been filming it, however, it's blown a gale and kept raining, and when I did try and film it, I forgot to press record. So that was a complete fail on my part. So you have to just take my word for it that they are being done, hence the covers off and things, stuff like that. But this will all be coming out today anyway. It was easier to do the cams in situ rather than with it balancing around, because I don't have an engine stand at the moment, so it'll be a case of get this one out. Gearbox and suspension can come out in one piece on this car, just because it's a completely different setup. But the engine, cross member, exhaust and everything will all have to come out separately. So in this one, there'll be slower progress, I think, but still progress. And just waiting for delivery to turn up. I finally bought myself a microphone. I've been saying for pretty much a year. But after watching the last video when I was in the engine bay, I couldn't really hear what I was saying that well, so it'll make a big difference. And I've got a little dead fluffy thing, it's just dead cat as I call them. So yeah, all being well, later on, maybe even during this video, we'll have a bit of a change of audio. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes anyway. Now, on the other car, you saw me had to unplug all the wiring. Well, this one's slightly different. It's got 90-degree flat connections on. All the wiring's black just to make it a little neater. And because I knew the back panel had probably on and off a few times, I made it slightly easier to remove. Because having done it once, I didn't want to keep doing it. So I put a multi-plug in. That's it. Rear lights, rear panel disconnected. Now, you won't have seen this because of the angle it was at, but bonnet catch, dead easy, 2 bolts. You can see why I did all this on time lapse on the last one, because it does take a while. And let's hand that out of the way. That ratchet does make things a lot easier. See, all the wiring stays put. Far easier. Right, you can now see what it's like with the rear off and actually see the whole structure of it. I had to make this and put a bit of extension in to support this, because the original mountings line up here in line with the mounting bolts, and when you're putting a lot of torque down on this corner, as I found out, my last one split. The original round one, it had been extended out slightly to clear this, and then it broke. So I've had to completely fabricate a new one. It's substantially stronger than the last one, and the stress from this torque is taken up by that extended arm. Normally they're just that long there, but I put a longer one in which bolts right up through to a strengthening plate on the inside of there. I don't know if you can see it, maybe not, but it spreads a load up the chassis rail rather than being right on the ends, so it's a little bit stronger in that respect. That then made my exhaust sit lower than I originally intended. So this exhaust, it was a trial and error on the first one. It's a bit restrictive, not a lot of space, and since found out that this is more than likely the problem I've got with it flatlining on the dyno. It goes up so far, climbing lovely, and then flatlines, 5,500 revs, flatlines, revs keep going up, power doesn't. And we're suspecting that it's bends, because high-speed exhaust doesn't like bends anyway. So what we'll probably be doing is redesigning the exhaust to come across here, and then a silencer sat here maybe over this side, or potentially, I don't really want to curve round and then go across the back like the rally cars and stuff from back in the day. You get a long smooth curve, it comes right round and then across the back and then out here. I prefer not to do that, so even if I get a smaller silencer that sits here and have the exhaust a bit further over, we'll see. But there's no point in having all that if then that restricts it. So also the exhaust manifold is a MGF 120 4-bolt one, and they're not the best for improving gas flow and things like that. So there's a TF one which is slightly bigger, slightly better routing, 6-bolt one, which I've managed to get hold of. They need a slight modification to make them improved, make them better even more, but hopefully that's what the plan is, unless I can find a full long 4 branch rather than the separate one, which was mainly done for manufacturer and ease of build in the factory and for maintenance later on. But obviously that doesn't matter to me, hence I've cut the flange off and that's been welded. So we shall see what happens, see what actually come across. But yeah, the throttle cable routing isn't ideal, so I'm going to run it so it comes up from underneath here rather than up and over the top, which is what it is now, and it's not ideal. You can see it's in view, and also they don't like too many bends. So if that comes up from underneath, you can lose all that completely. Choke cable, not an awful lot I can do with that, but we'll see. Right, carbs off. I must put a video on at some point of the build of this, because I bought it, ran it for a year standard, and then decided that rather than having 2 slow classics, I'd build a quicker classic. Dave Ketley, a mate, had quite a lot to do with that, and also did a few bits of beer. Yeah, the throttle cable linkage at the moment comes in from the top and pulls up. So if I can alter this bracket and put it down here, it's a perfect mounting bolt there, so it pulls the opposite way. It'll make it, because it shuts sharply, but on the cable it's a bit laggy. You have to, there's a little bit of drag on it. I'm going to just drop the exhaust off. There's not an awful lot of room for you to see, so you might just see the result of it rather than me actually doing it. Drop the plug out of there, pull it back. There you go. As I say, this exhaust Profusion stainless, all lovely, beautifully put together. It's just that was my first attempt because of the tyre, for the space I had. I didn't realise quite how much of a difference it'd make. So with power output. So the next one will be possibly here-ish. I mean, realistically, I could probably get away with a 45 and straight into that. Go out the corner. It all depends on how it looks. Because even if it works properly, I don't want it looking rubbish. Right. I've done it again. I forgot to press play. Well, record. So, for the benefit of it, buzz, 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 buzz. Yeah, anyway, there we go. That's the manifold off. Alternator and that can stay in place. As you can see, it's all heat wrapped, which keeps the heat away from the engine bay, and the heat's actually out the bottom underneath where it's cooler, because you want cooler air in the engine bay because cold air is denser and you get more bang for your buck, as they say. And I'm not just talking about hot air from me, I'm talking about hot air engine bay. Right, just noticing, if you're looking at spark plugs and back in the day when you used to check it for mixture and things like that, because this is on carburetors, there's no ECU to control the fuel and it's all done manually and set up. Now, you got nice light brown coatings on those, which seem to be quite good. They're on number 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. It gradually gets darker. Number 4 is really quite dark. It's a lot darker in. Yeah. So I'm wondering whether number 4 carburetor is running too rich, because the further down the line you get, I mean, they should all be exactly the same, unless this is, no, it's not rusty. I was going to say unless it's K series that's come to help me and it's rusty water that's poking down, but I don't think it is. It's too dry. But yeah, it seems to be further down the line you get, the richer they get. So definitely need to have a look at the carburetors. Also, what a massive blooming lip they've got around the inside. I know the welded on the inside, but I didn't realise quite how big a restriction that is, considering the pipe just fits inside here. You've probably got a good couple of mil at least all the way around the inside. That's like a bottleneck, look. I know they're mass produced cheaply, but that's ridiculous. I might well, definitely gonna have to do something about that on the other one. Anyway, that was the main thing I needed to check on the other side, but they're making them ports really quite small, and also not really all the same size or shape. That one especially is quite small. Right, there's not much left to do now. These adapter plate covers here, these are the original ones that cover the back of the flywheel on the K series within the MGF. This part here, you'll see a bit more clearly in a second, is the adapter plate that joins the engine, lines all the holes up and joins them to match the gearbox. Shout out to Kieran Jackson for making those, and the flywheel spacer and things. Right, the last few bolts down there have come out. Incidentally, I'm trying this on a different frame rate and different settings, so I'm hoping if it's as good as it looks in the camera, will be quite good. Yeah, that plate there's come out now. The bolts that go through hold the actual gearbox to the plate as well as to the cover plate. So we've got that bolt there, over there. Same the other side. I managed to get those out at the top, at the back, they were a proper fiddle. So at the moment, there's those 2 bolts holding it in, and this cross member. So next I'm going to undo these engine mounts and drop the cross member off, get the crane. Incidentally, shout out to Ronnie Reed. The trigger wheel and machining this down, it did have a second pulley on for the power steering pump belt. Machined all that down, made it, manufactured this himself in his shed, and works perfectly. Come with an adjustable slot on it. I ended up drilling it out slightly bigger to get some more substantial bolts through, mainly because of it going through a gap that I snapped a drill in, and then that's my mistake when I built it. And while we're at it, shout out to Bog Brothers Custom Manifolds, the Facebook, and up near Malton, near York. Tell them what you want, tell them where you want things, and they will make them absolutely 100% bespoke for you. Right, got a few extra bits off and got a bit of extra crane, got it all set up. It's a little bit on the tight side. Can't quite remember how I got it in there. I think it might have been slung and rolled in on a jack, so that I had the strap further back, because I know the gearbox on when it went together. But anyway, I'll drop the subframe off and then lower it back down slightly to support the gearbox, and then in theory then just should come straight out. In theory. Well, that's out then. Right, in theory now, should slide straight out. Should. Easy as that. Spot the difference. Delivery man arrived, so I've now got a microphone on, which is a bit weird. I've just done a couple of tests with it, and hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. I'll have to just not shout because it's quite loud. So hopefully, although it's not windy today, hopefully that'll improve things quite a lot. So anyway, where were we? Right, we were here. I just pulled the engine out, and I realised that I bought a clutch cover for it ages ago. It's the more updated, stronger version of the original. I mean, that one there is the original one that came off the 1172 engine. So it's never really designed to hold a lot of power. It's more than likely its original one from new, so that'll be, quick maths, old. So apparently these still fit. They're basically a direct replacement, and they're a lot stronger. So I haven't tried it yet. I'm just going to get the old one off and have a look what it's like. It did have a uprated pressure plate lining fitted. No, friction plate lining when I fitted it before. So we'll see what state that's in, because it was slipping a little bit. But I'll get on the tripod and then we'll have a look, see what difference it's going to make fitting this, and also whether I need to send the clutch away to get it relined. Right, I'm not actually sure how good this is going to sound or how loud it is, so I apologise if it's dead loud. I can adjust it in the edit afterwards, but it looks like a big lump of cauliflower. I think it's the biggest width muff on the smallest microphone. It did come with like little black round ones, but having most time of it working outside, I thought I'd be better off getting the dead cat dead cat ones. See, there's not an awful lot of pressure on that, so that either means that the plate's quite worn, or this just hasn't got any strength left in it. Well, that was an uprated clutch. And yes, I have had it slipping a few times, but there you go. Yeah, 189 stamped up. So that's its original clutch plate from when it was brand new. However, it has had a new lining put on. But the chances are that's an original one from a factory when it was new, because I know I didn't put a new one in. First thing I need to test is how much difference there is with the new plate. Yeah, that's a correct size. And does it fit? Apparently they do. Yeah, that's fitting exactly to the holes line up. Yeah, considering that's off a 1600 Felicia, it's quite surprising they are the same. I'll stick this here for now so I don't lose these bolts. Now also, when I changed the cams, I did replace these oil seals, but there's a little bit of oil around them. Now I don't know whether that's oil that's leaked when I've took it apart, or if it's oil that's leaked because I've disturbed them. I can't get them in or out in the car because the bulkhead sits there, so I'm going to order 2 new ones of those and replace them. The front ones are not leaking, I can see that. Where's the other washer gone? Now the front seals you can get at and they're not leaking, whereas the back ones are. Or maybe, and I'm not risking it for the sake of about a tenner, if that, there it is, whilst they're out. So no, whilst they're accessible, I'll replace them. I mean, it may just be oil, because they've not leaked down underneath. There's no, it was running for a good hour, and there's nothing really underneath. It's more residue, possibly, but I'm not risking it, because if it's either do them now, I'll pull the engine again. I don't fancy doing that. So, right, I think we're getting to a point now where all the gearbox and everything needs to come out, and I don't think I'm going to have time. It's getting a bit late in the day now. I'm busy next week going to Rustable, and it's my birthday as well, so I don't think I'll be out here doing this on my birthday. Wouldn't be the first time, obviously, but no. Right, I think the same as the other one, I'm going to drop the back end back down and put the rear panel back in. 1, it doesn't get damaged in the garage, and 2, it doesn't look quite so bad to anybody walking past. I'm going to pick up all the nuts and bolts are all over the floor. So yeah, thanks for watching. It's been a bit slower progress with the filming side of things, but at least you've seen what I've been doing and how it's coming together, and oh sorry, in this case how it's coming apart. And then obviously the introduction of a microphone, which I'm not entirely sure it's A, working, or B, what it sounds like. And I shall find out soon when I start to edit it, because I'm going to put this out tonight. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in another video. If you see us at Rustable, give us a shout, say hello. I might have my t-shirt on, I don't know, probably will. I may even do another video for that, because I'm not going to be spannering next week. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again. Cheers.